Welcome to Soar to Your Highest. This is Cheryl Paige.
Hey everyone, welcome to Soar to Your Highest. This is Cheryl Paige, and I'm so excited to have you here today. Today we're going to be talking about where we focus and how that can really have a huge impact on our life and how we're experiencing our lives. So if you have a tendency to focus on what isn't going well, you may find that more and more things aren't going well because our life is created by where we choose to focus. And that's the great part, is that we get to choose what we focus on. So I want to talk a little bit about how limiting beliefs, and if we focus there, how they can hold us back in our lives. So if what we focus on expands, then we have the power to change where we're focusing so that we can have more of that expand. So one of the powerful tricks that I want to chat about today that you can use is to begin to first realize that you are in control of where you focus. So it's a muscle that you can learn to work, and it's a muscle that you can learn to recalibrate so that you can begin to focus where you want to see more of in your life. We all have a lens that we see the world through. So what I mean by that is we all have these beliefs and stories that we tell ourselves, and that's the lens that we wear, and that's what we look through when we're looking at the world. And so, for example, if I have a limiting belief that I'm not good enough, and this was one of my limiting beliefs for a really, really long time, that I'm not good enough. It doesn't matter what I do, I'm just never good enough. So when I look out and I experience the world, what would happen is I would be seeing the world through this lens of not being good enough. So I would look at a situation, I would look through this lens of not being good enough, and I would see all of this evidence showing me that I wasn't good enough. I would find everything that I could, and I'd say, see, that clearly indicates and confirms my belief that I'm not good enough. So what I started to do was begin to actively and consciously collect evidence for the opposite. So if I believe I'm not good enough, and I clean up the kitchen, and my husband comes home and he doesn't say anything, well then that's evidence that obviously I'm not good enough, right? But that's my lens, so I'll collect that evidence believing that I'm not good enough. When I begin to switch and to say, okay, I know that that's the lens I see the world through, so how about I actively and consciously try to look for other evidence, disproving the belief that I'm not good enough. So that's what I started to do, and that's what you can do too, that you have so much control in your life. You can change the perception that you have of the world if you actively decide to. So first, identify what is it that you believe and that you're collecting evidence for. Maybe, in a lot of times throughout my life, in my relationship with my husband, I would find myself feeling like, see, he doesn't even care. And then I would collect all this evidence proving that he didn't even care, until I decided to start collecting evidence for the opposite. I started to make a list showing all of the times that he showed me that he did care, so I could change my perception. And I would write down every little thing that I could find that showed that he did care. So if he smiled at me, if he kissed me goodbye, if he greeted me hello, if he sent me a text throughout the day, if he brought me a cup of tea, any of these things, I just started to collect this evidence to show the opposite of what I believed of him not caring to him caring. So you can do this in your life, and you can apply it to any situation, to any of these beliefs that you have that are holding you back. First, realize that you have this perception, that this is how you're seeing the world. You're looking through that lens of not being enough, or that your husband doesn't care, or that, whatever it is belief that you have, you're collecting evidence for that all the time. So I challenge you to begin to collect evidence for the opposite. And then you can pull out that list whenever you're struggling, whenever you're feeling like you're being hit with this limiting belief, whenever you feel like you're focusing on the things that aren't great, you can pull out this list and read it and say, look, no, This is the evidence I was collecting when I was actively, consciously looking for the things that proved the opposite of what I believed. And start to focus there, because what we focus on will expand, and you have control over the perception and the lens that you wear in the world. First, identify what that lens is, and then begin to collect evidence for the opposite of what you're believing. If it's holding you back, your mindset is so powerful to begin to recalibrate those beliefs and those perceptions, so that your perception of the world can become more in alignment with what you want to see in your life, so that you can begin to create the life that you dream of, first with that mindset and with realizing that you're focusing on the things you don't want, the things you don't want more of. Begin to focus and collect evidence for the things that you do want in your life, and watch as it begins to bring more and more of that into your life. Until I see you next week, connect authentically, love unconditionally, and trust fully.
Hey everyone, it's Cheryl. I hope you liked this episode, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the next one and tell a friend about us. If you want more tips and guidance, be sure to visit our website at cherylpage.ca and enter your name and email to get on our email list. Until next time, keep soaring to your highest, connect authentically, love unconditionally, and trust fully. Hey everyone, it's Cheryl. I hope you liked this episode, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the next one and tell a friend about us. If you want more tips and guidance, be sure to visit our website at cherylpaige.ca and enter your name and email to get on our email list. Until next time, keep soaring to your highest, connect authentically, love unconditionally, and trust fully.